Welcome to WT History. In this series, we list all the major events that happened in the world in a year, starting from 1776 to 2024. On January 9th, the massive Fort Tejon earthquake, measuring magnitude 7.9, struck central and southern California with a violent intensity of level 9 on the Mercalli scale. It remains one of the most powerful quakes ever recorded in the region. On February 3rd, the National Deaf-Mute College, known today as Gallaudet University, was founded in Washington, D.C. It became the world's first college dedicated to the higher education of the deaf, paving the way for inclusive learning. Then came March 6th, and with it, one of the darkest Supreme Court decisions in American history. In Dred Scott v. Sandford, the court ruled that Black Americans were not citizens and that enslaved people could not sue for their freedom. This infamous ruling pushed the nation ever closer to civil war, a decision that would not be overturned until the adoption of the 14th Amendment in 1868. Between March 8th and 12th, tragedy struck in the Northwest as the Spirit Lake Massacre unfolded near the Iowa-Minnesota border. Settlers were attacked, and the frontier saw one of its bloodiest episodes. On March 12th, a brighter chapter opened when Elizabeth Blackwell, America's first woman to receive a medical degree, founded the New York Infirmary for Indigent Women and Children, a hospital dedicated to serving poor women and children. Then, on March 23rd, inventor Elisha Otis changed the face of urban life forever. His first elevator was installed at 488 Broadway in New York City, making skyscrapers a possibility for the future. On July 18th, the Utah expedition departed from Fort Leavenworth, setting the stage for the Utah War, a confrontation between Mormon settlers and the U.S. government. By September, the Panic of 1857 began. Sparked by reckless speculation in railroad stocks and the collapse of the New York branch of the Ohio Life Insurance and Trust Company on August 24th, the resulting financial crisis spread rapidly, shaking economies across the Atlantic. The unrest didn't stop there. On September 11th, tragedy unfolded in Utah during the Mountain Meadows Massacre, where immigrants traveling west were brutally attacked. Only a day later, on September 12th, disaster struck at sea as the SS Central America sank off the coast of North Carolina, taking 425 lives and tons of California gold with it. Later that month, on October 24th, 28 enslaved people made a daring escape from Maryland toward freedom, echoing the courage that defined the Underground Railroad. And as the year drew to a close, Queen Victoria selected Ottawa as the new capital of Canada on December 31st. Meanwhile, the Mormon settlers abandoned their early settlement in Las Vegas. Illinois State University was established in Normal, Illinois, as the first public university in the state. At the same time, San Jose State opened in San Francisco, the first public university west of the Mississippi River, beginning as Min's Evening School. And in music, American composer James Lord Pierpont wrote a tune that would one day become a holiday classic, Jingle Bells, originally titled The One-Horse Open Sleigh. On January 1st, Estonia's biggest newspaper, Postimees, began publication, founded by Johan Voldemar Jansson. Then, on January 7th, modern urban life took another step forward when the London General Omnibus Company, partly owned by the French, began operation, bringing organized public transport to the capital. On March 25th, French inventor Edouard Léon Scott de Martinville patented the phonautograph, the first known device capable of recording sound, a century before the modern tape recorder. Just weeks later, on April 14th, a royal birth brightened Britain. Princess Beatrice, the fifth daughter and youngest child of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, was born. Only 4 days later, on April 18th, French educator Allan Kardec published the Spirits Book, one of the 5 foundational works of Spiritism. On April 27th, the first horse race was run at Longchamp Racecourse in Paris, a venue that remains iconic to this day. From May 5th to October 17th, the Art Treasures of Great Britain exhibition opened in Manchester, displaying thousands of artworks in one of the largest exhibitions ever held. On May 15th, Banco Santander was founded in Spain, followed by Banco de Bilbao on May 28th, both of which would grow into global banking giants. On June 6th, Sophia of Nassau married the future King Oscar II of Sweden and Norway. 2 weeks later, on June 20th, the Victoria and Albert Museum officially opened in London, dedicated by Queen Victoria herself. At a ceremony on June 26th, the Queen awarded the first 66 Victoria Crosses to British soldiers for acts of valor during the Crimean War. On July 18th, the use of prison hulks, old ships used as floating prisons, was officially ended in the United Kingdom, closing a grim chapter in penal history. On August 28th, the Matrimonial Causes Act passed in Britain, allowing divorce without parliamentary approval for the first time. Then, on September 22nd, tragedy struck the Baltic. The Russian warship Lefort sank in the Gulf of Finland during a sudden storm, killing 826 people as 30 other ships were wrecked. A brighter moment came on October 24th, when Sheffield Football Club was founded, the world's first association football team. On December 16th, southern Italy was rocked by the Basilicata earthquake, measuring magnitude 7 and reaching an extreme intensity of level 11. Around 10,000 lives were lost in the devastation. Just days later, on December 20th, Emperor Franz Joseph I of Austria issued the decree Es ist mein Wille, leading to the demolition of Vienna's medieval walls and the creation of the Grand Ringstrasse. That same year, artifacts from the Latène culture were unearthed in Switzerland, offering insights into ancient Celtic life, while Bucharest became the world's first city illuminated by kerosene lamps, lighting the way for the modern world. On January 24th, the University of Calcutta was founded, becoming the first modern multidisciplinary university in South Asia. In the same year, the University of Bombay was established, laying the foundation of higher education in India. On February 5th, the Federal Constitution of the United Mexican States was proclaimed, marking a new chapter in Mexico's governance. On March 14th, Yusuf Bey Karam was appointed ruler of the Lebanese region of Aden and Mshari by popular demand. By April 4th, the Anglo-Persian War came to an end, restoring an uneasy peace in the Middle East. But only days later, on April 8th, the British hanged Mangal Pandey, the soldier whose defiance against the East India Company army became a symbol of resistance. His death would ignite a full-scale rebellion. On May 10th, the Indian Rebellion of 1857 erupted as the 3rd Light Cavalry mutinied against their British officers. The uprising quickly spread. The next day, on May 11th, Indian rebels captured Delhi, forcing the British East India Company to retreat. By June 1st, the Battle of Fatchan Creek saw the British Royal Navy defeat the Chinese fleet, another victory in the Second Opium War. On June 12th, in Central America, William Walker, the American adventurer who had seized power in Nicaragua, was finally overthrown by Honduran General Florencio Satruch. From July 1st to November 19th, the siege of Lucknow became one of the defining struggles of the Indian Rebellion. By July 15th, the second massacre at Kanpur unfolded, deepening the brutality of the conflict. On August 20th, tragedy struck again when the ship Dunbar wrecked near Sydney Harbor, killing 121 people. By September 20th, British forces had recaptured Delhi, ending the Mughal Empire and exiling its last emperor, Bahadur Shah II. On November 1st, the Indus Valley region, now modern Pakistan, was officially incorporated into British India, where it would remain for 90 years until 1947. Then, on November 16th, British soldiers won 24 Victoria Crosses for bravery in a single day of combat. By November 30th, Mexico's President Ignacio Comonfort was replaced by Felix Maria Zuloaga, sparking political turmoil. In December, the Reform War erupted in Mexico. On December 7th, the U.S. consul in Japan, Townsend Harris, met the shogun in Edo, the first meeting between a Japanese ruler and a Western diplomat. Finally, on December 28th, the Second Battle of Canton began, as British and French forces assaulted the Chinese city of Guangzhou. Elsewhere, Liberia annexed the Republic of Maryland, ending years of deadly conflict with local Grebo and Kru peoples. That same year, the first commercial tea plantation was established at Mulnachera Estate in Sylhet, beginning a global tea industry under the British Raj. The settlement of Kuala Lumpur was founded as a tin mining town, a humble beginning for what would become Malaysia's capital city. And in Japan, the Suzumoto Vaudeville Theater opened in Edo, marking a milestone in Japanese popular entertainment. Thanks for watching WT History. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more journeys through the past 1 year at a time.